Alright, you tool addicted maniacs, this past week has been a busy one. Here's how it started out. Now, as I mentioned before, I have worked for and with professional tradesmen for a long time now. Whether it's plumbers, electricians, or HVAC technicians, and that's what I'm working with here today. I don't know if you've ever dealt with these Samsung mini splits, but they're some of the biggest pieces of junk on the market. Property invested in them and put them on a brand new building, and they have regretted that decision ever since. Got them to come out once or twice to work on their units, and then after that, they can't get them to come out. They want to pay them, they don't want to come. Kind of like John Deere in that situation. You had to hire a Samsung technician because they're the only ones that got the technology, or you can't repair these things, so they're replacing all of them with these Durastars. And these things are 10 times better than what the Samsung is. So before you jump into that end of the pool, I just recommend you to check them out. But as you can see, we've already took the Samsung down and put the Durastar on the mounting brackets on the outside of the building. And we went ahead and got everything wired up and shut off the disconnect. Now this unit's got 4 heads on it and it's a 3-bedroom apartment. We got our ladder out, climbed up here, pulled apart this 10, that way we get to the chaseway. It's where the copper lines are and the drain lines that goes to these units. Go inside, remove the old units from the wall and install the new ones in their place. That involves putting in a mounting bracket, setting those units on that mounting bracket, hooking up all our lines and wiring this thing together. And altogether we've done this 3 different times for the 3 different units that goes onto the wall. These things are designed where they're not really that bad to install. As I mentioned, I'm working with an HVAC technician on this, and here's his tools that he's using to do this job with. And as you can tell, he likes Klein and channel lock tools, just as most old school tradesmen do. Once we installed all the units, we got our ladders out, climbed up the side of the building, up the chaseway here, hooked up our drain lines, cut the copper lines in half, broke out our torches, and then silver soldered everything together. After that, we went ahead and reinstalled the tin on the side of the building, got out our vacuum pump to pull a vacuum. Now all that we had left to do was get these things wired up on the outside. That's what we were doing here. Needless to say, everything was installed good, the client was very happy, and the tenant was very pleased to have her heat back on. But my job didn't stop there. I went straight into working with plumbing on the next job. The first call of the day was not 1, but 2 different hot water tank failures. The first one that I diagnosed was a bad thermostat because it was trying to turn on the upper and lower element at the same time, which blew the breaker. Once the new thermostat was installed, I discovered there was a leak on top of the tank. It was coming from the cold water nipple, so we popped it out and put a new brass one in. What technically should be here to begin with whenever you've got an expansion tank on top of it. Next up was a failed hot water tank from 1992. They got their money's worth out of this. Basically all that was wrong with it was a lower thermostat. Unfortunately, there was a lot of problems that come with this thing. Number 1, none of the shutoff valves wanted to shut off inside this apartment. Number 2, we had to go find the main shutoff valve outside at the meter. Needed to be dug up because it was underneath snow and mud. After we got the water shut off, the rest of it was easy as pie. Got the copper lines through a dolly under it, wheeled the tank outside completely full. As you know it wouldn't drain either. I tested out the Cobalt Rapid Adjust feed jaw pliers on this job and then went on to the next. Now this one happened to be a weekend emergency call. There was a leak in this apartment complex going from the 5th floor down to the 1st floor. I worked my way up from the 1st to the 5th floor to find the problem. Lo and behold, it was a rotted, corroded cast iron pipe, had more crack in it than 100 bites. I plumbed it out with PVC, tossed on some fern coats, and now we got an access panel here on the wall for anybody who needs to access this hole in the future. I installed a water valve on a washer for a lady a few months back. Called me in, told me that she had that washer leaked. Well, that brand new valve had a cheap plastic housing and it blew a crack in it right through here. So the water was spraying continuously at all times without the washer being on. Luckily, I'm someone who keeps parts laying around. And you can pull the solenoid off a lot of these and rebuild them if you need to. So I took 2 water valves and made 1 good one out of it. After this job, I got a remodeling job that I gotta go deal with. So pop that clutch, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.